All right, what's up, guys? How is everybody doing? All right, coming on here. Hey, let me get my laptop pulled up. Okay, so want to talk a little bit about what's been going on with Parler. So last night at work, for me, as most of you know, I work nights. Um, I was actually on Parler when I had a chance to go on when I was on break and then lunch to kind of see whenever the service was disrupted. For me, at least on my end, it was around I want to say 2 or 3 o'clock this morning. I was getting a server error saying that obviously the site's down. You actually pull up www.parler.com and site cannot be found, so it's completely shut off. So a little bit of the backstory about Parler, and then I'm going to kind of get into what I think needs to happen here soon, if not today or tomorrow. So basically, Parler has become the anti Twitter place for conservatives to go, so they feel like that their voices are being heard. And you've seen a huge purge of people leaving Twitter, migrating over to Parler. A lot of people leaving Facebook, migrating over to Parler and other social media platforms. Tech companies have gotten out of hand. They're out of control. And I've been sitting back and I'm just kind of in disbelief and thinking to myself, man, I never would have thought, this would happen. I mean, I remember back in the days of Friendster and MySpace and things like that. And of course, that was never the topic of conversation. But, as things have progressed with the internet, we have started to see how vile not only people have become, but businesses as well. And this was pretty evident what happened with Parler. So, kind of want to read this and give you an update on what's going on with Parler. Like I said, if you're not familiar with the social media network Parler itself, it's an alternative to Twitter. Um, and I'm going to go ahead and read this. This is something I found when I was on lunch at work, and I kind of want to read just briefly over, and then I'll kind of get into the specifics of what I would like to see happen from here on out. So, Parler CEO John said today that a social media company has been dropped by virtually all of its business alliances after Amazon, Apple, Google ended their agreements with the social media service. Every vendor from text messaging services to email providers to our lawyers all ditched us. All ditched us too on the same day. Okay, let me scroll on down. I've never actually been on a laptop and then doing a recording like this, so this is kind of new, right? Normally, I just kind of go off the grid, but with what I have to say, let's see. Yeah, so they all work together to make sure that at the same time we would lose access to not only our apps, but they're actually shutting off all of our servers tonight, which was this, early this morning. Um, Off the internet. They made an attempt to not only kill the app, but to actually destroy the entire company. And it's not just these three companies, it's every vendor from text messaging services, email providers, lawyers, all ditched us. I've already read that. I don't know why they do this twice in here. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so the remarks come on a day after Amazon dropped Parler from its services, joining Apple and Google. They all cited that the potential of spreading violent content on their site, which is favored by conservatives, is an alternative to Twitter and Facebook. The CEO John said that the services are unfairly targeting Parler. They're trying to falsely claim that we are somehow responsible for the events that occurred on the 6th, up there at the Capitol, um, that was taken over by protesters. Um, I It would put anyone out of business, he said. Okay, I'm just going to have to cut that part out. It would put anybody out of business, he said, of the tech bans. This thing could destroy anybody. So, a couple of things I want to touch on with this real quick, and I'll wrap it up. But um, what was done to Parler is out of control. Big tech has lost their shit, and nobody in Congress. If you think that the government is going to do anything about this, they're not going to. Especially if Biden's in office, it's just going to get worse. You know, the Twitter has become a place. It's become a hub for, um, for the left and the extreme left, the cancel culture left, and that's one of the reasons why you have seen a purge of conservatives that have now migrated over to Parler. So this company is not responsible for what happened December 6th. They're not. And I'm going to explain to you as why. Anybody on any social media platform can do what they want, say what they want, use code word. This has been going on for a long time, even before social media. If you wanted to coordinate something, you can do it any way that you want to do it and figure out a way to do it. Okay? People are not stupid. But the social media companies will say that you are. Now, what happened on the 6th, because Twitter's gone so far to the left and Facebook's gone so far to the left, Apple, Google, and Amazon have gone so far to the left, they needed somebody to point the finger at. And because Parler had taken so many of Twitter's customers, that's, to me, they point the finger at them. They're saying, hey, you're responsible for this. No, they're not. I don't care what anybody says, they're not responsible, because anything could have been done on any social media network that could have been a result of a bombing or this, that, or the other. You just don't know. Like I said, again, it's using code word to get your message out there, and for those individuals to understand what that code word means, and then you can have that conversation and coordinate what you want to do. So let's not act like this is all Parler's fault, okay? Because I can guarantee you that there's probably groups on Facebook and there's probably people on Twitter that know this. So let's not just sing out one company only because vast majority of its consumers or Patreons are conservatives. Once again, this is the left pointing the finger at conservatives, saying, "Look how bad these people are." No, that shit's gonna stop. I promise you that. And there's no level playing field whatsoever. Congress doesn't give a shit. They're going to call on Mark Zuckerberg. They're going to call on the twit from Twitter, and they're going to make them come before Congress and testify, and nothing's going to happen. Again, people, you've got to understand, Congress does not give a shit about you and I. They don't. They do it to appease the people, to make them look like they're trying to make some sort of effort to actually implement some sort of change when it comes to social media. They're not. Their pockets are so far deep with all these companies, they don't give a shit. When are people going to realize this? That's what's mind blowing to me. So now here is something that maybe it's already happening. Maybe it might be happening today. I don't know. As I'm making this video, I don't know. But what I would suggest is all the companies, all the social media companies that claim to be free speech, or a alternative to Twitter and Facebook, they need to come together. What I mean is Gab, MeWe, Minds, they all need to come together and they need to support Parler. I'm calling on the CEOs of each of those companies to reach out to Parler, reach out to the CEO John, and say, hey, what can we do to help you out? These companies, these social media companies need to come together and say enough is enough. Something needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. I understand that it's very difficult to even start up a social media site. And I know that there's that fear that the left might may come after yours, but this is where conservatives, this is where social media companies that want to provide that service to an alternative to these other platforms need to draw the line in the sand and say enough is enough. We're not backing down. We're not going anywhere. We're going to help. So again, I'm going to reiterate this. CEOs from Minds, from Gab, from MeWe, help Parler. I would have said the same exact thing if the same thing was done to Bill Ottman and to John, who are the CEOs and co-founders of Minds. I would express the same concerns to these other companies to help Minds out. It doesn't matter who it is, because a lot of us, you need to hear me on this. If you're going to listen to the people that sign up to your social media network, you need to listen to us now more than ever. We're telling you, This needs to stop. It needs to stop today. Fuck Congress. Screw everybody else. There are for something can be done here, and I don't want to hear no bullshit excuse from anybody at this point. And I'm not talking about the CEOs of these social media companies, these alternative social media companies. I'm talking about just in general. The public needs to say enough is enough and support these alternative websites, these alternative social media sites such as Gab, MeWe, and Minds. Get on there, sign up, show these people that they support the services that you're trying to provide to be able to have that free speech. That's what needs to be done at this point. Okay? As far as the CEOs are concerned that run these companies, you guys need to come together, sit down, have a conversation, back each other. There needs to be a revolution in social media, and it needs to start now, not yesterday. Now, actually, yeah, it should have started yesterday. Hell, it should have started 4 years ago. you know, so that's kind of where I'm at with this. And if you own, if the guys that own social media companies ever happen to get a hold of this video, and I do encourage people to share this out, get the message out there to people, find a way to share this video, but it needs to get back to these companies to say, hey, we trust and we believe in what you want to provide us. But now we're asking you to support Parler, to back them, to give them what they need. If they need something, just extend the hand out to them and say, hey, we're here to help. You guys have got to come together. You've got to come together now. No more waiting. No more waiting. If this is something that's already in the works, then fantastic, because I don't know what's going on. Conservatives and people alike are fed up with censorship. I don't care who you are. I really don't care. Nobody should be censored. To a point. Let's be clear on that. I mean, obviously there's some things that you should be censored for when it comes to physically harming others and when it comes to death and stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of getting off topic, but again, I don't know what needs to be done here, but what I do know is that these companies, these alternative social media sites, they need to overthrow Twitter and they need to overthrow Facebook once and for all. This has got to stop. The other thing I'll tell you too is Amazon. Kind of want to touch on this. Now, if you use Amazon Prime and you're charged $14.22 a month like I am, stop that service and put it somewhere else. As a matter of fact, I would encourage somebody, if they haven't already done this, is to kind of create a GoFundMe like account. Not saying GoFundMe, but something to raise money to help support these smaller companies, these smaller websites, these smaller social media places. If Parler said, hey, we're going to charge each individual to use our service, I will be gladly to hand over $14.22 that used to go to Amazon. I'll give it to Parler to help them get back on their feet and whatever it is that they need. We have the power of the wallet. Don't let them tell you otherwise, because we do. They don't exist without us. Okay? Think about that for a second. We have made these companies what they are today. We can also put these companies into the ground if we wanted to with our wallets. And I encourage people to do that. You got to fight back, folks. This isn't a time to sit around on your ass anymore and say, oh, well, my $14.22 ain't going to put a dent. Actually, on the surface, yeah, it doesn't look like it, but you get enough people to do it, they will feel the effects of it. I promise you. They will feel the effects of it. Then they'll start to realize, oh shit, we shouldn't have done this. You have to put these big tech companies in check. We gave them this power. We gave them the resources to become as big as they are. But you have to remember, we can also take that all back from them. One person at a time. I canceled my Amazon subscription at the $14.22. If I can take that money and put it back into Parler, put it back into Minds, I mean, I actually do support Minds. Okay. I'm a part of Minds Plus. I pay an annual fee to be a part of Minds Plus and a part of Minds Pro. I'm not going to say how much money I've spent, but I will tell you this. I support what Bill Ottman and John do over at Minds. 100%. I love what they do. I love what they're trying to do. Although you can't please everybody, but you know what? I've talked to John enough. He's been on our show a few times. Not John, I'm sorry. I've talked to Bill Ottman. Would love to talk to John, at some point on the show. Would love to have him on. But anyways, talked to Bill Ottman several times on the show. And when you listen to the man's passion behind the service that he wants to provide people, and that is free speech, you I tell you right now, go back and watch those videos we've done with Bill Ottman. Once you hear the passion in his voice of what he believes in and what he's trying to create for you and I to have that social media experience, I'm telling you, you will sign up. You will become a member. It is free, but I choose to take my money that I've worked for and invest it in Minds, and I have. And I will continue to support Minds from here on out. I believe in what they do. I believe in what John and Bill Ottman are doing. And, you know, even if, you know, even if you're not sure about it, at least go over there and check it out, you know. But anyways, I'm going to jump off here. But like I said, one last time, guys, let's do something here. Let's come together and help out, Parler, because I like to think that if this happened to Minds or any other company, that that the favor would be returned. And I think that's what needs to happen is that these companies need to band together and stand up against big tech. Don't sit there and tell me that there's not another service provider that can help out Parler. I'm almost positive there can be. What that looks like, I don't know. What John over at Parler is doing, I don't have a clue. But I am putting this out there because I'm tired of seeing people being censored. And I've been censored. God, I can't tell you how many times I've been censored for stuff. It's ridiculous. Um, yeah. So I just want to get this message out there to the public. I want to get it out there to the CEOs of these companies. I will pass this video on to Bill Ottman. I've already made a post on Minds about it to kind of get everybody's wheels turning and kind of thinking about it. But I wanted to do a video because sometimes hearing it is different than reading it and understanding it a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing. But all right, guys, y'all have a good day. And yeah, we'll talk soon. See ya.